Welcome to another edition of the Burrow podcast. I'm your host, Josh, and I'm joined today by my co-host, Mick Tasker. Mick, how are you feeling after that win the other night?
Oh, mate, unreal, it's still coming down out of the clouds, mate, after
It hasn't
the last 2 weeks.
Have you dried out since the other night?
Yeah, I guess so, but, especially at Acor, the rain coming through the roof, I got a bit wet.
Yes, well, we beat the West Tigers the other day, 22-12. Try scorers were in the 9th minute, Saliba Havili, Ewan Aiken in the 24th minute, Alex Johnson another try to his tally in the 59th minute, Jairo the final try in the 78th minute. Latrell kicked 3 from 4 for the Tigers. Abasai Coruscant, former South Sydney Premiership player, scored in the 38th and 68th minute, and Adam Dewey, another former South player, scored 2 from 2. Some of these stats were the possession was 49%, completion was 88%.
Oh, yeah, the possession we've been getting is very important. The more if we can complete at the 80% mark and above, we're going to give ourselves a chance of winning.
Well, it's extremely impressive in any game to get 88% completion rate, but in those conditions, it was even more impressive, wasn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. The control was very good, and it kept us in the game, really.
Well, even the West Tigers, they were completed at 80%, and they were throwing the ball around too, so that was quite impressive from them as well.
Absolutely, yeah. They were very good as well, and obviously, Appy was, killing us there out or in the middle of the ruck.
We'll speak more about the game. We'll just go through the rest of these stats. So the run meters, again, the opposition had more run meters than us. We had just under 1,800 at 1,792, and they had 2,004. There was the offloads were 5 for us and 19 to them, and they definitely killed us with their offloads, didn't they?
They certainly did, but I think we scrambled really well too from those offloads and that. Even though they did a lot of offloads, I think they never really were creating a lot of chances from that.
Well, the scrambling defence from us all year has been something really good, and certainly saved a lot of tries with our scramble. And last year, I don't think we saved those tries, do we?
Oh, definitely not. No. Our defence last year was very bad. We were averaging over 30 points a game. You can't win many games by doing that.
No, well, our defence has improved out of sight quite often this year. We've kept teams to 3 or under tries, and when we've done that, we've won those games, haven't we?
Yes, definitely. Yeah, I think a lot of those games too. The opposition have been on the front foot, with the meters and that. But yeah, we've just stayed in the game with the defence.
Yeah, and also with our completion rate, not giving cheap possession away. And the games that we have lost, like against Newcastle, we're giving cheap possession away, and that really hurt us, didn't it?
Oh, yeah. That was probably our worst game this year, I think, the Newcastle game.
Well, it didn't help with having so many players out, did it?
Well, true, yeah. But that's been happening all year, And to be where we are, that's very good considering the injuries.
We spoke a few weeks ago. I think you were on with me in Melbourne. We talked about how no forward made over 100 metres for weeks running. I think that game, Keon was the only one, and he was playing back row, made over 100 metres. But all up this week, we had 10 players make over 100 metres. And it just shows that we're sharing the workload. But just some of the stats was 282 run metres by Keon. Absolutely impressive effort there. We'll talk further about his game. Campbell Graham, 158. Zaya Tass, 148. AJ, 135. Bailey Bentley Harpy, another impressive, 135. Ewan Aiken, 135. Junior Totola, who I thought had his best game this year, in 125. Latrell, 114. Jai Arrow, 109. And Davey Moali, 104.
Yeah, look, that's very impressive. I think having Jamie Humphries back with his kicking game has certainly helped in that regard. we're on the front foot more with the kicks.
Well, this year, a lot of times his kicking has got us out of trouble, and it helps having Latrell there that's able to do a lot of those. And one time they lost at sea with one of those giant bombs that Latrell put up. But the kick meters was 777 to 573, and when you're not making as many meters and they're dominating for that period, we had to do a lot of long kicks to get us out of trouble, which kind of makes that up. But having a guy that's got a long boot like Jamie Humphries really helps us get out of trouble, doesn't it?
Oh, it certainly does. And it also helps with Latrell's game too, because like there was times there in earlier games where Latrell had to basically do all the
Well, he was a
kicking.
predominant kicker, wasn't
So it took away from his natural attacking game, I thought.
he? Yeah. Well, on the defensive side, surprise, surprise, Keon topped the tackle count with 49. Ewan Aiken, 42, another high one. Whenever he plays back row, he's making a lot of tackles. Lockie had Hubner 32, Tallis Duncan 32, and Saliva Havili 32. Just a lot of sharing the workload, isn't there?
Oh, definitely. And those stats there just prove how much scramble defence, that the boys have been doing. Like, because we've had to make a lot of tackles.
Well, there was no more important tackle than the one by a stretch, and we'll go further into it there. But also, Bud Sullivan, he's made some impressive tackles that have saved us. And I think the one that led to the Lockie Galvin no try, wish he's had his time back. But there was one earlier, I forget who it was on. It was
I think it was Royce Hunt.
Yeah, it was a huge tackle that jolted the ball free. We were under all sorts of pressure there, and he relieved the pressure.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Because we were going through a period there where we were dropping the ball a little bit, but, or they were getting penalties and that. But that tackle sort of lifted them, I thought,
It certainly did, and I think you were saying it last week. There was against the Broncos, his defence. It's just something that's proved out of sight. He saved us a few times with the back row for the Broncos, almost looking like he was going to score, but he cut him down, and that's his biggest improvement this year, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. His defence has improved even, like, over this year. Like, he's been getting... Because he's had, like, to play a bit longer these days than what he would have probably expected when he first came to the club. But
Well, the first try there, Saliva Havili, same as last week, gets the ball from dummy half, scores. It's a little bit contentious. I don't know whether the ball touched the ground or not, but the referee was the closest, and he's awarded the try, and it's not one that you can overrule, is it?
yeah, that's it. Whether he got it down or not is the contentious part, obviously. But because the referee went up, it's hard to overrule that.
Well, you only need a blade of grass. The ball touched a blade of grass to be awarded a try, so...
Yeah, those two tries by him, he showed a lot of strength to actually even get into the position to, be putting the ball down.
He's certainly, when we lost Pete Manazelis and he's filled in at hooker, he's certainly a good replacement to have.
Oh, yeah, definitely, He's got a lot of utility value because he can play like a, lock forward.
He was sucking them in at the back end of the game, wasn't he? And Jai Gray had to have his second stint there, but I think that was definitely needed at that stage.
Oh, yeah, because we were down to, 12 men then too. So, there was a lot of scrambling and that, and Jai being a fitter guy, Well, not so much fitter, but younger.
Well, we had a play where the Tigers were, on the attack, and they went wide, and AJ put his hand out, and he ended up getting the intercept. And had he caught it cleanly, he's scoring under the post. But
yeah, no,
Luai already started chasing him down. Quick play the ball, thinking that all we need to do is spread it out. Zaya Tasco's himself. Tackled by two players offside, doesn't get the ball down. Penalty and a sin bin. What do you make of that play?
Well, I think we had talked about this at the ground too. In my opinion, it was pretty much, well, I think it should have been a penalty try myself, because if those two players weren't there, Tash scores.
Oh, you could be right, and there's definitely an argument for it. I think they kind of err on the side of doing that because there's other players around, whether they can make an impact or whatever. So they're very reluctant to do that. But at the same time, I thought all Tass needed to do was spread the ball out,
Oh,
and we score a try.
oh yeah, definitely. Like we had him shot on the other side of the field, but yeah, it is what it is, and obviously they lost the player in the sin bin. Unfortunately, I don't think we took advantage as much as we could have at that time.
No, we did score a try on that point. It was a Bud Sullivan break where Jerome Luai was called offside. He wasn't square at marker, and I think if he had that time over again, he'd just give away the six again. But Appy Coruscant was left one-on-one with Bud Sullivan, and he had a bit of space. He got through. Kind of messed it up a bit, didn't he? The overlap drawing in the fullback, he kind of got himself into all sorts. Passed the ball, a flick pass inside to into Ewan Aiken. Aiken went to pass the ball to Campbell. It was touched by the Tigers. Campbell went to pick it up. He was held back, managed to pick it up. Then he did another pass to the ground to Ewan Aiken, and Ewan Aiken dummied to the player outside him, had the fullback to beat. It wasn't a fullback. I forget who it was. It may have been Charlie Staines, but stepped in, and I think Jerome Luai came to make the tackle.
Yeah, I actually think the player that he stepped was safer.
You could be right.
Yeah, but yeah, no, Bud showed a lot of pace to get through the line, and yeah, although he didn't draw the player that well, in the end, we got the try.
Well,
It wasn't pretty, but
that's the second time he's broken through the line like that this year. An important time against the Roosters when we looked like we were out of the game. We needed something special. He stood up and delivered. Done again, and how must he be feeling? Doing that against the side that he was meant to be playing for this year.
oh yeah, you could tell at the end of the game he really was enjoying himself. When he came over to us in the crowd, and that, he was on the phone taking pictures, and so he was really enjoying it.
He certainly found a home here, and having a coach like Wayne has really helped his game and given him a lot more confidence. I think he's lacked a lot of confidence over the last few years, but being given the opportunity, and he's not disappointing, is he?
No, definitely not. Like in the juniors, I remember seeing a few games that he played, and you could tell he had a lot of skill and that. But yeah, like you say, he lacked a bit of confidence, but he's starting to get that now, and yeah, it's going to be interesting when Cody comes back and that, as to how Wayne picks the team.
We had we looked like we were really on top of them, and it was like just really came out of nowhere because Adam Dewey was getting pushed into touch. I kind of have a problem with this passing off the ground when they're getting pushed into touch. That they kind of forget about that rule. It's like that we never reward good defence, do we? But anyway, they got the ball away. They got tackled. Two of our guys were on the ground. It was Ewan Aiken, Campbell Graham, who made that tackle, and then Bailey Bentley Harper got to marker, but then he kind of got caught offside, and probably wishes he made that tackle anyway. Then Davey Moali was stranded by himself, beside Coruscant. A bigger bloke, he was always going to beat him for his pace. Then he come up to Latrell, and we're thinking, oh yeah, okay, Latrell's got him covered, and he fooled everyone, didn't he?
Oh, the footwork that he showed there was amazing. Like, yeah, Latrell was like, he in the end he basically went, "Yep, you got me." Like,
well, I think he even put that on Instagram where he said, "Yeah, I'll put my hand up, you got me." But do you think Latrell was a bit hesitant because we've seen him go and smash guys when he's doing that, and we've seen that he did it to Saw against the Storm and he was sin bin. Do you feel like maybe he was hesitant?
oh, there could have been a little bit of that. I mean, he's had a lot of suspensions, in his time, so it could have been a little bit of that. But yeah, I think all credit goes to Appy with the footwork.
Well, we've had over the last couple of years. last 2 years, we've definitely made a habit of conceding tries right on halftime within the last 5 minutes. Going into the sheds, it kind of felt to me like, well, we could possibly go in there having our heads down, and the Tigers would have had the tails up going in like that at 12-6, where I felt we dominated more. We should have probably been up by 18 or 24 points.
Yeah, definitely. Like we definitely should have scored more points, especially when we had the extra player. I don't think we really capitalised on that at all. But yeah, it's happened so many times. Like right at the end of the half, the opposition go in and score. So it's and it's I don't know what's the go really. It's like they just sort of give you know what's the word for it? They take their foot off the pedal sort of thing.
Yeah, well, could be a fatigue thing as well, but we don't know. But hopefully it's something they rectify. It's hasn't been as bad this season, but
no,
certainly you don't want to be going in like that. The momentum can be in the game of football can be huge. But I felt that our attack on the line, because we were attacking the line quite a bit. I don't think we were as creative. We certainly missed Cody Walker, didn't we?
Oh yeah, a player like Cody would that's his whole game really. Like creating things from nothing and that, and it and he seems to take the right decision more times than not. Like
well, Jamie Humphries was playing on the left, where at the start he was playing a lot on the right, and Bud has been playing on the right for the last few weeks. So maybe that'll help Jamie going back on the right when Cody comes back as well.
Yeah, definitely. And just having Cody beside him, I think, will help him. Even though, like we've said, Bud's been going well, but yeah, Cody, with his skill and I think it's going to be a help to all the team, really, the whole team.
Well, we're under a lot of pressure in that second half, and we thought we got some relief in the pressure where there was a ball on the ground there. And Latrell just whips it up, and he runs the length, gets tackled just short of the line, and then kind of gets tackled in the touch. We don't get a penalty for it. They say that he's out anyway, but the Tigers challenge it because they seen a knock on that obviously happened, and the refs got the right decision. But I was a bit annoyed that Latrell went so close to the touchline. I would have preferred he stayed down, and I think if he had his time over again, he'd do that. But just the clean-up work at the back from Latrell was first class, wasn't
it? It was, and it's something that a lot of supporters and that have been criticising him about. But yeah, you couldn't criticise his work, out the back and that. Like he cleaned up quite a few, and he's made a lot of try-saving tackles too.
Yeah, well, this hasn't been a lone game that he's done that. He did it last week. His positional play was brilliant last week, and also against the Storm, he cleaned up a lot of the kicks there. And being at the game, you can see how he's positioned himself a lot better. A lot of times, previous years, you watch him, you just see that laziness kind of creep into his game, but it certainly hasn't been there the last 3 games, has it?
No, and I think that's a credit to the training staff and that, because it's probably the fittest he's been in, probably a number of years now.
Yeah. Well, certainly you're 100% right there. And then the next try, we were talking before about Jamie playing on the left, and a really great leader from Jamie Humphries there to give it to Tallis Duncan. Tallis Duncan with great work to quick ball out to Isaiah Tass. Isaiah Tass drew Dream Buller for AJ. Still had a little bit of work to go, but there he crossed for try.
Yeah, 197. What an amazing effort. And, the thing about AJ is he reads the play so well, and his positional play is second to none, really.
100%. He's brilliant. And that was his first time he's played at Campbelltown, believe it or not. Well, it's only the second time we've played there since, I think, 1999, when it was the Western Suburbs Magpies. So last year was the first time since then, and out of all regular grounds used by NRL teams, there's only been one now that he hasn't scored a try at. Do you know which one that is?
Well, I know he's. I don't know which ground it is, but I know he's scored like 175 tries in 176 games playing on the wing. You know, he had a couple of years where he was playing fullback and he didn't score as many tries in that time. He probably would have beaten.
He's also scored one try in the 3 times that he's come off the bench. So he came off the bench 3 times as well. But yeah, you're right. That's an amazing stat. On the wing, that's almost a try a game, and probably last year kind of brought that back a bit because he had well over a try a game on the wing. And imagine he played his whole career on the wing. He could have been up to about 250 by now.
Yeah, I think he would have definitely had the record by now. That's for sure. And I mean, last year, I think that's also, the team didn't really, you know, perform that well as a whole.
No.
So
Yeah, and if we do, it could be a possibility that he breaks the record this year, which will be great because who knows what's happening with AJ next year. But the only ground that he hasn't played at, he's only played there one time himself, and that's down in Wollongong because he didn't play there this year, obviously.
no, he didn't. And who knows what's going to happen with AJ? Hopefully, he gets the record at our club and he remains a one club player. But yeah, like we've got some good players coming through too, and so the pressure's on, the guys getting a bit older and that.
Well, after that trial, we're in control. We started coming back on, and I really thought the getting Saliba Havili back on really helped to go forward with our forwards. I felt when Jai Gray was on, it was just a bit of inexperience, wasn't able to bring our forwards onto the ball as good as Liver was. But him coming back on really helped our go forward, didn't it?
It did, and you're right, Jai. Like this is only second time as a hooker, really, or dummy half. So yeah, but I think he brings other things during that period of time. But yeah, you're right. He doesn't get the forwards going forward as much. He's more like he catch and pass, but his go is just run. Like he's a runner.
Well, the Tigers are starting to make some inroads, and they're getting some offloads. Obviously, a bit desperate to get back into the game. Appy was certainly carving us up. Terrell May was another one getting a lot of go forward and that, and we've seen where Talasunken made a beautiful tackle. Was it on Appy or who was it?
It was on Appy when Appy beat Latrell again for the second time.
Latrell certainly having nightmares about Appy, wasn't he? But then he gets up, and instead of trying to walk to the side, and which I thought was very lazy play from him, running through the ruck, kicking the ball, and doing that, and yeah, I just really thought that he should have gone around it. It really put us in a bad situation, didn't it?
It did. It was, I guess, lazy at the time, but yeah, or clumsy even, but and it did cost us because they really came back from that.
Well, they scored straight after that, so it really was a waste, wasn't it? We had our line set, even though they got a quick play of the ball. We did have our line set, and I thought we were going to be able to scramble enough to keep them out once again. Him off the field, it was just over 10 minutes ago. It certainly wasn't looking likely then, was it?
No, it certainly wasn't. Like they had all the momentum, and yeah, again, there was a lot of good scrambling in that time as well. So
there was a play where it looked like we're going to cover the kick or whatever. AJ dives on it, knocks it on. They get another set of 6, and then it looked like for all of us that they were going to make us pay. And Lockie Galvin goes over the try line. We're copping it from all the Tigers fans. They had really given it to us. What were your thoughts at that time?
it was a running battle with those Tigers supporters, but yeah, it was funny at the ground. I think I was the only one that actually said, I think he dropped the ball, and but you're still sort of not sure what's going to happen with the video refs and that.
Well, on the commentary, I think it was Warren Smith turned around and said straight away he thought he knocked it on straight away. I remember looking at the what we call the big screen, but it was a little screen really at that ground. They certainly don't have a big screen there, and it's very hard to see. But I looked at it and I've turned around. I said to everyone, I've said he's knocked it on, and all of a sudden you've just seen the player. You wouldn't have seen it on TV, but all the players have noticed it straight away too, and they're all going over it, congratulating Stretch. It was a magnificent tackle. It was the tackle of the game, and it certainly saved us, didn't it?
Oh, it was a match-winning tackle by far. The not only to come from where he did to put pressure on Galvin, but then to knock the ball out of his hands it was amazing.
Well, I remember getting on my seat because all the Tigers fans are giving it. They were still giving it to me. They were oblivious to what happened, and they were crying and wondering why is this guy laughing at us and doing it. Started the South Sydney chant, got them going. We're all excited, and by then they still hadn't made the decision yet. But we already seen it in the big screen, so we all knew, and they were just perplexed. What are these guys doing? And then they took a look at the screen and they were realised once they seen he went to the video ref, they were just going, oh no. So,
yeah, and then once the decision was made, they started leaving. Then,
well,
right away.
Well, we get the ball back from the 20-metre 7 tackle set. There was an important run by Jai Gray from dummy half and got us really on the front foot late in the tackle count. Jamie Humphries puts the bomb up. AJ competing for it, where Brent Aiden took him off the ball. Truva knocks on. Isaiah Tass knocks on. Latrell Mitchell's there to clean up, put it over. It's called back. But that's the point I believe we felt like, well, we won. And after that knock on by Lockie Galvin, they didn't get the ball back until after we scored the Jai Arrow try. So it was all over. Basically, that lost them the game. And we had a set attacking the line. It looked like a nothing set. But then Jai Gray with a beautiful pass where it looked like it was going to go out the back to Latrell and Jai Arrow barges over for the match, to seal the deal.
Yeah, and I think he deserved the try. He was sort of strong as always, obviously, but yeah, the last few weeks he's really put in, and it was good to see him score.
Moving both him and Keon to the middle has just made all the difference. And I said it last week, and it's happened again where Jai just looks a lot more comfortable playing in the middle. You play him at lock, he tries too hard to be ball player, whereas this he just does his work. Keon's the same. Can be a bit lazy out wider and whatever, but just the workload from Keon. I went through his stats before. It's probably one of the best performances I've seen from a prop for some time.
Oh yeah, definitely. They both love playing 80 minutes, and to play it in the front row is an amazing thing, and not doing it just once, in a time, but doing it every week.
Yeah, well, a lot of the forward performances, Ewan Aiken, another one, playing back in his best position in the left second, out wide on the left back row. Right back row, wasn't it?
Right.
But our defence since he's moved into the back row has just looked so much better, hasn't it?
Oh yeah, he's more comfortable in the second row for sure, but. Again, he's only really a fill-in centre anyway. He wouldn't play there unless we had injuries and that. And he's good to have, as a backup. But yeah, he's much more comfortable in the second row.
See, I'm of the belief you put your best players in their best position and don't weaken one position to try to get someone to play another. And I think that's one area that Wayne got wrong in that period of time. And what I love about having Ewan Aiken in the back row is is the defence, especially for Bailey Bentley Harpe, having stretched there as well, has just made it so much easier for him. He's defending a lot better because there was a couple of times when you just looked at him, you looked in all sorts, but having the right people inside him was certainly helping, hasn't it?
Oh yeah, like, and that goes with anybody really. When you know the guy inside you is gonna, do his job, and that, then you only have to concentrate on your own thing. Whereas if you're a bit hesitant about what the guy inside you, you're waiting for what he does. So yeah, definitely having stretched there has helped a lot.
Another player I really want to give a rap to. He had a horrific injury last year, and even in the off season, he only started learning to walk again. We've seen those articles, and that's Junior Totola. He had a week off to refresh himself, even though he was named at 18th man. And I believe he had a bit of a rib problem, but he just looked like back to Junior of old, didn't he?
He did, even though he didn't play a lot of minutes, like big minutes. But yeah, when he was on, I thought his carries were very strong, and it carried on from like what Jai and Keon were doing earlier, and yeah, I was surprised how good his carries were. Actually, it reminded me of his earlier times.
And we spoke briefly before about AJ, but it's really good to see him back, and he looked back to full fitness, and another one that just has come back from a horrific injury as well.
Yeah, he did. I mean, obviously, that that intercept, maybe a few years back, he scores that try anyway. But no, it's good to see him back, and yeah, he looked much more comfortable
Well,
from.
I felt like the only thing that prevented him from being that try was that first tap. That had he got it cleanly, he was away. And Luai had already come across in cover, and so I don't think he's lost too much though, which is an impressive thing for me.
Oh yeah, definitely. No, he hasn't lost too much, but like obviously, as you get older, you're going to lose pace anyway. But no, it's good. Like I think he's getting more confident with the injury that he had. And knowing that it's strong now, and I think he's getting more confident with it.
Well, we'll go into our 3-2-1s now. Do you want to give us your 3-2-1s?
Yeah, so I thought, well, obviously Keon was very strong, and we've already spoken about his stats, and then Campbell again, had the match-winning tackle, and his defence is really strong out wide, which we've lacked, the last couple of years. And my other one is Ewan Aiken. I think he had a really strong game as well. And I think, the last two games in the second row, he's really added a lot.
Yeah, I don't think anyone can disagree with the Keon being the best player up there. It's just unbelievable. It's Sam Burgess like, isn't it? And Terrell May, even his stats, he made over 60 tackles and made about 199 run meters or whatever. And so everyone's been talking about him, but Keon, he kind of said, his stats here, hold my beer, and done that. But his stats in the middle have been really impressive. Every time he's played in the middle, he's getting about 200 run meters, making plenty of tackles as well. So there's no argument from anyone. I believe that Keon was the best on field. My two goes to the same as you, Campbell Graham. Not only just for that try-saving tackle, but his defence in general, and the amount of times, some of the runs he does to get us out of troubles. He's certainly great having him back. And again, we talk about long-term injuries, and he was another that's come back from a long-term injury as well. So, and my one goes to Latrell Mitchell. I know he missed that tackle there on Appy Coruscant. He missed a couple on Appy and got shown up, but just his positional play, his clean-up work, he was unbelievable and saved our Skins a lot of time. Want to make special mention, talking about clean-up plays, of some of the work there by Jamie Humphries there to clean up a few of the kicks as well. But Latrell was my one.
Yeah, look, like I said before, with Latrell, his fitness, I think that's really helped with his positional play. being able to get into those positions, like rather than being gassed and that. So yeah, no, he had a great game, and yeah, I can't fault any of those players really.
But while Latrell's in that frame of mind, we're in a very good position to win our games, aren't we?
Oh yeah, definitely. Like having Latrell playing strong can only help, the team, and like yeah, and it also gives the other players confidence. I feel like because the opposition are going to target, like, be worried about Latrell, so it gives like our other players room and that to move.
Well, there's still some doubters out there with Latrell and especially with Jai Gray about fullback. I know you're very vocal on Latrell being fullback. So am I, and a lot of people look at the run meters or whatever, but there's just so much more, and especially I've spoken about it previously. Is the organising of the defensive line from the fullback? It really does help when you've got someone with a loud, strong voice, and maybe something that Jai hasn't quite got right yet.
Yeah, look, I mean, obviously, Jai's only at the start of his career, so it's probably hard to sort of tell players that have been playing for a while, what to do and that. But whereas Latrell, he just commands that, you know.
He does. Well, we're heading into the bye now. We sit 6 wins, 5 losses. We've had so many injuries, so it really is a good position. We sit equal 6 on the ladder and 7th on for and against. It's a great position to be in, isn't it?
Oh yeah, like if you told me with all our injuries and that we were going to there, I would have taken that at the start of the year. Like, and obviously we're going to be getting a few players back now. So it can only all go well. But again, you still got to play well. Like.
Well, our points differential is certainly hurting us at the moment, so getting a few big wins will really help us along the way.
Oh yeah, and it'll help us as supporters too. Having these close games not good for the heart.
Yeah, well, we still have quite a few players to come back. I believe after the bye we'll get Jack Whiten back. We've got Cody Walker possibly the week after. I'm not sure where Tyrone Munro is. He's still a few weeks away, although he's been seen doing a bit of work at training, and whether he comes through playing New South Wales Cup or they put him through first grade, a lot will depend on how we're travelling. And the other is obviously Brandon Smith will come in probably about 6 weeks away, maybe 5 weeks now, and Pete Mamazelis around the same time. So we've got a few players come back, but
yeah, and even Rabbitohs, like he's been named in the New South Wales Cup squad this week. So that's a good thing, and that's going to put pressure on our outside players. So that's a good thing.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Ravalawa this week because he's playing. So it'll be good to get him a bit of a run, and he could possibly make his way on the side. What do you see happening when we play the Warriors in regards to that?
Yeah, it's going to be a tough decision for Wayne to make, but yeah, I think if Ravalawa plays well this week, I think we could see him come into the side. But yeah, because I think he'll come in for Bailey, obviously. But Bailey's been going pretty well in the time that he's been there at the moment. So it's going to be an interesting decision.
Well, you're out there in Campbelltown with the New South Wales Cup game. I believe we went down 24-6, was it?
Yeah, 24-6. They were a bit disappointing. I thought, they yeah, I don't know about the halves. Like they were a bit off. I thought, and with Schuster, he's got a lot of skills, but yeah, I think there's times where he probably tries too much.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Lewis Dodd hasn't been named this week. I'm not sure if there was an injury or what. But what are some of the notable players this week in the New South Wales Cup side and also the Jersey Fleet side for you?
Well, just had it. I think, like Jacob Host, I thought he had a pretty good game for his first game back. So he's going to be better for the run. And then obviously Michaela Ravalawa. And then it's good to see also Hazen Mellors. I think, he was a bit quiet on the wing, but it wasn't really a game where we got a lot of ball out wide. But it's been great seeing him. Like, I think this will be his, about 7th game in a row. So, and I think he's a chance of making first grade, if not at the end of this year, sometime next year.
Yeah, I know Sean Kepi's, we played last week and he's not playing this week. I believe he was on report during the game.
He was. He got placed on a report for, I think it was high shot on, I can't remember the player, but so he may be suspended. That's probably why he's not picked.
Or they could give him a rest because of the bye, so that's understandable. But Tommy Fletcher's another one that is really starting to make way to possibly get a call up later in the year.
Yeah, and I think that game probably was his best game in attack. He's been defending really well this year, but I think that's his best game in attack.
It's certainly a lot stronger side, especially the back line's looking a lot stronger, isn't it? With what we've been naming earlier in the year.
Oh yeah, well, a lot of those players that are named in the back line, a few of them have been playing first grade because of all the injuries we've had. So they're definitely looking a lot stronger. But
and what about the side, the Jersey Flag side? Any notable players there that come up through? I noticed Charlie Poynton's been called up.
Yeah, obviously the SG ball side, this year were very strong. So it's not surprising that we're going to see a few of them sort of come into the Jersey Flag side, from now. And Jacob Fong's another guy.
He played last week.
Yeah, he did.
Sorry.
He played a couple of weeks ago, and I think he's been pretty strong in that too. So, look, they're going to filter in, obviously.
Well, Matty Humphries is he's very impressive young kid, isn't he?
He's got a very good kicking game, and he controls the play very well. I think, he gets the players around the park. So got a lot of promise, Matty Humphries.
Well, they take on the Storm, don't they? This week?
Yes, they take on the Storm at Redfern, I think they're playing.
You going to get out there?
There's a chance. Actually, no, sorry. I've got to work. Otherwise, I would probably have gone out. But, I'm actually working on Saturday. So. But hopefully I'll be watching it on Bar TV.
Yeah, so the Origin sides dropped the other day, and we got two players named in the squad with Latrell, an obvious pick at centre, and it's good to see Campbell Graham being named 18th man.
It is, it was, he was named 18th man, or he even was going to make his debut a couple of years ago, and unfortunately, he got injured. And now it could be, the opposite way now. Like Stephen Crichton's, battling a groin injury, I think. And
so it's quite an interesting story to say there, because he was getting the call up, but then pulled out with that sternum injury, and then made way for Stephen Crichton to make his debut, and now we could see the opposite. It's quite an interesting story, isn't it?
It is, isn't it? And good luck to Stretch if he gets in. I think he'll do a great job. I don't think he'll be out of place at all. He's played for his country and that. So
any noticeable players that missed out for you?
Well, I'm surprised. Jai didn't actually get picked for Queensland. He's done the job for them.
Arrow.
Yeah, Jai Arrow. Sorry, yes, not Jai Gray. But he's done the job for him over the years. So, and they normally do pick and see.
They have in the last couple of years for sure. For me, I can't go past the likes of Terrell May and Keon Matangi. I think I've had a look at a lot of comments on social media, and those are two names that have been brought up quite a bit. And yeah, it's just perplexing. I know the side was named before they even ran out, but even still, like Terrell May's been one of the form props in the competition, hasn't he?
Well, he has, yes, and I think he was even leading the Allianz. Like, but yeah, it's interesting. I mean, again, I think New South Wales have basically gone with a lot of the players that won the series last year.
I guess leaving the Roosters hurts your chances, doesn't it?
Yeah, yes, that's definitely it.
Now, we had an event at the Beer Shed the other day. That's my brother's brewery down at Lamia. We had it with the Ambush. It was a very good event, and we had special guest speaker Blake Solly, who I interviewed on stage.
Yeah, it was an amazing interview, and I urge anybody who hasn't listened to it to get on and listen to the interview. He was very insightful, I thought, and yeah, just take a listen to it and subscribe to our channel.
Yeah, you can watch it here on our YouTube. We've got links there on Facebook and other social media platforms that we have. But there was a lot of interesting points that he was talking about. He spoke about the women's side, and he did say that next run of teams included will be one of them. And the most interesting talk was about Allianz Stadium, wasn't it?
It was, and it's like divided the thing pretty much just like when we moved to Acor,
Yeah.
and at the time of that move, I thought it was the right move for us because we were in a lot worse financial position back then. But now, I think we have to move back to Allianz. The atmosphere at Allianz is going to be much better, and the facilities are much better too.
Well, listening to him when I was asking him about it, the most interesting thing was he spoke about how there will be two games played at Acor. I've mentioned on here before about the Good Friday game needs to stay there, so it sounds like we'll still have our reciprocal rights deal with the Bulldogs every year, which is a great thing. We'll be able to get to that game for free. The other thing was that the other game will be at Gosford, so that's a great thing in itself. But it certainly sounded like he was resigned to the fact that we're going to be playing there as early as next year.
Yeah, it did sound that way, and I think it's a great thing because as a Burrow person, like I go to the games and that because I love the atmosphere, and being at Allianz is going to enhance that greatly, and also the game day experience itself. Like we used to do, where we'd meet up at the club and then go to the game and then back to the club afterwards. I reckon that's what we've missed really. Like,
Well, let's not forget it'll upset the Roosters as well, which is a huge thing. There's a petition going around that a lot of people put up for get us to move, and the Roosters have got one back. I believe the guy that did it works for Venues New South Wales at Allianz Stadium and that. So it'll be quite interesting to see if he's still in the job if we do move there. So certainly hasn't done himself any favours, has he?
no, he certainly hasn't. And yeah, getting like obviously the Roosters are saying that it's their ground and that, but it was paid by the taxpayers, so like they don't have any rights to it. Like,
Yeah.
so getting one up on them will be a great thing.
Look, we understand that this is a touchy subject for a lot of people, that we all have different opinions, and we have different reasons that we prefer one stadium to the other, and I understand people look at location or whatever. I'm 10 minutes away from Acor, but I just love the fact that getting to the juniors before or after the game, the atmosphere that Allianz will create for us in the Burrow, the view of the game as well. There's so many things that Blake explained it well, what was going on with Acor, and he even said that overall his preference would have been to stay at Acor. And he did say that, but he was speaking about the funding that we're not getting. We had leaking roof that Michael spoke about before at Acor when we played the Broncos. It was a huge puddle where we were standing. It was like someone put a tap on Michael's head when he moved. It seemed to follow him. It's like those cartoons when you see people trying to walk away from the rain, but the rain keeps following. That's what it did for him. But that's not good enough. And we know that people talk about transport, and they are going to build a new car park there, so that'll help a lot of people that are having issues with mobility and that. I'm sure the club will do their best in the meantime to help those people that can't, their mobility is a bit of an issue there. The light rail from the juniors is great. It's less than 10 minutes walk to the ground, so I've got all that. So I definitely do see that there is going to be a lot of conjecture, and I understand a lot of people don't like change, and the seats that they have at Acor, what will the seats be like when they have at Allianz?
Oh yeah, look, there's a lot of things to, and obviously people are going to have different opinions and whatnot, but I think overall, the transportation, like, I think it's like on a par, really, like getting to and from the ground. As
the light rail's there at Central Station, right out the front too, goes straight up to Allianz, or Allianz, where it's just near where the SCG is. So it's not that far of a walk, but I understand some people will have issues with that and find that a bit difficult. That's unfortunate, but they're going to probably find ways that maybe get special parking for those sort of people there, and if you really, you will find ways, but
oh yeah, definitely. Like,
it's also not over the line yet, is it? So
no, it's definitely not over the line yet. But hopefully, for my point of view, hopefully we move there, because, like we've said all along, we're about creating atmosphere and that, and Allianz is going to definitely help in that regard.
Well, the Rabbitohs did put a huge a lot of information out about the possible move. So if you haven't already, read about it. Answer a lot of questions there for you. So we'll do that.
Yeah, that's it. Just have a read of it, and obviously people are going to make the decision, one way or the other.
Well, we head into the bye this week. It's kind of a good time to have the bye, rest up, and especially after a win, it's a great feeling.
Oh yeah, like going into the bye with 2 wins in a row, it certainly helps, and and the players, I think, getting refreshed and that, especially our players who have been, had long-term injuries and come back from them, and that, I think that's going to help them. And then we get a few more players back after the bye. Well, we're in a very good position.
Yeah, we do have a tough run coming up. We've got the Warriors, then we've got the Raiders down in Canberra. I believe after that it's the Storm and then the Bulldogs.
Yeah, that's it. And like, obviously pretty much the top 4 right now, that's who we've got to play. So it's going to be very tough. But if we can get a couple of wins, out of that, we're still going to be in a very good position, I think.
It's going to be interesting because while we're talking about the top 4, a lot of the games are affected whether they're backing up from Origin or playing Origin. Obviously against the Bulldogs, I think that's an Origin-affected game. We're going to be without Latrell and possibly Campbell Graham, and who knows by then maybe Keon as well. The Dogs will be without Stephen Crichton and Max King, it looks like, and I think Kurt Mann's 18th man, but I'm not sure whether they usually don't keep the same 18th man, do they, back to back?
Yeah, not always. Like, I think they just pick as on the day, basically. Like,
well, obviously, they do name an 18th man for him because they're not available, which I think is absolutely stupid rule that that just because, if the player's there as an 18th man, they can't play for their club. I don't understand why they don't just pick a player that's one of the players from the teams that are having a bye.
Yeah, well, to me, that's would be a better solution too. Or at least wait until after the round and then just pick somebody who's not injured. And
What does a bye weekend consist for you?
oh, obviously I've got work and that, but yeah, I'll be just sort of taking it easy, and I'll probably go to training a couple of days. If they are training, there's no guarantee they're going to be training it actually this week.
Yeah, well, I know they've got this week off training, so they're having a bit of a refresher, which is a good thing. The guys certainly deserve it, and no doubt come back fresh next week at training and preparing for the Warriors game, which will be a tough game. But I think their position on the ladder is a bit of a false pretense. When I look at their points differential, they've only got a points differential of a positive 5.
Yeah, look, they've had a few close wins, and they're certainly going to be tough. But yeah, I think if we play at our best, we can certainly compete with them.
It'd be good to get a winner against them and kind of entrench ourselves in that top 8. But
Oh yeah, that's it. And if we can beat them, and be in that top 8, it's going to improve the momentum as well. That'll be 3 wins in a row. But yeah, as we say, it's going to be tough. They're going all right. They've been winning. I think, what is it? They've won 6 in a row or something.
5 or 6 in a row, yeah. Having a good run, but as you know, when you start winning like that, it becomes a habit, which hopefully we can get on a bit of a roll and have that sort of run as well. So,
definitely, yeah.
Anyway, that's all for about today. We've got don't forget about the put a reaction video out on the game. Give that a watch. We've also got the getting to know our members. This week's one will be Darren Finlay. That'll be up on either Thursday or Friday. And we've got to get a few more people on. So if you want to be part of that, reach out to us. You can get us on the email below or contact us through our Facebook or other social medias. Certainly like to hear your story as well. But now, after a great win at Campbelltown on Sunday night, I'm your host, Josh. I'm joined here by my co-host, Michael. Go the Rabbitohs.
Go the Bunnies.
South Sydney! South Sydney!